Now y'all know what it is, the real two-ten, all praise to God for everything. And I'm here with my brother, Manny Garcia, aka Manny Fatz. But before we start this interview, shout out Nigel Cornerbeat. You know about it, man. You from the Northwest area, you know about it. So listen, Manny, take us back to the beginning, man, where it all started from.
From Washington, D.C., 17th Street Northwest. And
so how was your parents, man? Like, talk about your parents, like your life growing up in the house with your parents. How was that?
It was good. It was good. I grew up with my mother and my father. Both of them migrated from El Salvador. I want to say like back in late 70s, 38, somewhere around that time. And they just did.
Absolutely.
They were working hard. My mother worked in the Pentagon up until we got into a bad car accident. Which became disable, able to work. And my father, he worked in construction field. Up until he got laid off, you know what I'm saying? Like basically a little too old for have there, but you know, they work hard.
And I remember in high school, your parents were featured in the history books, man. Like, can you give me the spiel about that? Expound a little more about that.
So it was an article on my mother and father, and also on like siblings, like basically just my family. This is like when my mother was pregnant with me.
Right.
And so you know, history had continued after that. But it was an article, you know, basically describing a modern family. Coming from El Salvador, planting their feet in the United States and just, you know, trying to find their place in this country and stuff. And it's been a while since I read the article, but you know, it was a good article, and you know, it's amazing because like people like you remember
for sure,
bring it back up.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like, you know, I'm proud of it.
Have you been to El Salvador?
Yeah, I grew up just going back and forth. Like I go a few weeks at a time every year. I haven't been in a while. Like since I was like 12 years old, because my mother started getting worried about the like gun violence and gang banging and all that stuff over there, especially because like somebody from our area sent their son over there. He got killed. Like
never came back.
It was bad. His mother sent him over there on some, I want to get you out of these streets, but sent them
for a better life type stuff. You go over there, ain't nothing changed.
Went back.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely understand that. So how was your household? Like you got a big family. You said you got what, 7 siblings, right?
I got 8 siblings. 7 from my mother and father, and then an older brother on my dad's side. But I grew up in a household like I'm the youngest out of 8, 9 kids, right? So like by the time I was like getting older and actually being aware of, you know, what's going on, most of my, like, I want to say about 3 or 4 of my siblings was already like, you know, doing their own thing, like had their own place. 2 of them had kids already and stuff like that. So it was like some of my siblings, the older ones, played more of a role of raising me alongside my brother. Alongside my mother and my father. And then the ones that's closer in my age, you know, they was around. And I grew up with them and stuff.
Absolutely. So you got a pretty close knit with your family. Pretty close family.
It's a close knit family. They it's different now. Like times changed, but yeah, we grew up close knit and. Like I said, one of my sisters, she's like my mother.
Absolutely.
You know, I had my mother.
For sure. So how were you in school, man? Talk about your school history, man. How was that?
School, I was like distracted a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like I always had a lot of other things on my mind, but I always had the potential in school. It's just that I never applied the potential enough for me to excel beyond what I did. You know, but I was able to tap into that when I went to prison.
Absolutely, you went to prison. Okay, cool. We're gonna get into that, but since you brought it up, we're gonna get into it. So, what did you go to prison for? Like, what was you convicted of?
Well, I was charged initially. It was 19 years. I was 19 years old. 2014, I was charged with second-degree murder. And, you know, as the case progressed, as they kept investigating, they was also trying to charge me with assault with intent to kill.
Absolutely.
Because there was another person there. But I ended up, taking a guilty plea. Like, basically, the best offer they had was the first one. And I took a guilty plea to like 7.5 years to 15 years, but my lawyer was also able to negotiate with me, put a cap on it. They wouldn't go over 12 years on my sentence.
So did you have a paid lawyer or a public defender?
Man, I wish I'd have had a paid lawyer. I'd have probably been home way before
no question,
that.
no question.
Nah, I had a public defender, man. He did the best he could.
Yeah, they call them public pretenders, what they call them right there, you know what I'm saying? So like, talk about that experience, like, when you go to jail for a murder or something, they always think, oh, you're gonna get life in jail. How was your feeling when you first got in there, man? Like, a lot of people say, I wasn't scared of nothing. How was you feeling, honestly, man? For the viewers out there.
Scared. Yeah. Hey, listen, it wasn't even that I was scared. I was scared, but it wasn't like scared because I was in jail. I was scared that my life was over. I was scared that I would probably never be able to be out here with my son again, with my family.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I was scared that, it was a lot of fears, but it wasn't like about being no sucker or nothing. It was, like I lost my grandmother a year into my sentence. You know what I'm saying? I was scared to face that. Absolutely. I was scared to face, what if my mother passed away while I'm gone? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So, it was a tough experience going in there. It wasn't like I was, I walked into the jail feeling comfortable.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? No. That shit was hard.
So no trial, you took the plea deal, you get your time. How much time did you take? Did they give you, I should say?
So in DC, they got a such thing called the Youth Rehabilitation Act. And I was eligible for it because I was only 19 years
old.
And the guilty plea that I took was 7.5 to 12 years. So when I went for sentencing, the sentencing judge, she sentenced me to 10.5 years. But what she did, she granted me, the Youth Act. And with the Youth Act, she was like, look, I'm gonna give you 8.5 years to do, and I'm gonna put 2 on the background. Basically, like, she suspended 2 of them, but it's still hanging over my head. Like, worst case scenario, I'll mess up, and she could give me 2 years.
Absolutely. So you get your time, they send you out the feds. So what's some of the feds did you go to, and like, what were some experiences that you could share with the people that you experienced while you were there?
We'd be here all, we would have to record forever with these experiences, man. Sure. But to start off the top of the head, it was like, I had never really been away from home for this long, not much people had. So, and then on my own, it wasn't like I got the homies with me or I got my brother with me, nothing. You by yourself,
on some man time, you gotta stand up as a man, no matter what.
Exactly. So, my first experiences was just actually getting adapted to the atmosphere, really getting adjusted to that shit. Because it's not like you go to prison and everything great. Nah, you gotta actually get to know your environment and know what you get into and stuff like that. And I used to get a hard time because, mind you, I grew up uptown. I grew up in the city. So the way that I am, that's just natural, But when I got to the feds and stuff, we got some parts of DC that don't have Hispanics around. They ain't grow up.
Right.
So when I got on homie time, that's DC time. Usually most Hispanics, they get on when they go out there. It's not that you joining a gang or nothing like that. It's just politics. It's in the way you have to identify with a certain group of people in there. So I identify with being from DC and nothing else. I don't gangbang or nothing. I'm from Washington DC. That's it. Right. And I used to get looked at funny from both angles. Hispanics would see me with a bunch of blacks, and they'd be looking at me like, what the fuck is he doing? Looking at me crazy. I'm young though, so it's like, I'm on bullshit too, but I'm just like, why y'all looking at me crazy? I'm just, going with what I know.
For sure.
And then I have dudes that's so-called, like, you know, like my homies and
right,
stuff.
right.
Mind you, we don't know each other. We homies because we from DC.
Absolutely.
They'll be looking at me crazy, like, bro, like, what you think, you black and this and that? I'm like, nope. It's just, I grew up in the city. Facts. Like, what you want me to do?
Sure.
You know, so like they not used to it, and it'd be hard for them to embrace it.
Especially when we come from, we grew up like in a multicultural area. We got Africans, we got Latinos, we got Asians, we got pretty much everybody where we grew up in. So I understand, like, they looking at you fun like that. You Spanish, you supposed to be one of us, you know what I'm saying? But not knowing where you grew up at, your background, your history. So what's something in the prison that you saw, like, you know, so you can share with the people? Now, you don't got to go into details, you know what I'm saying? Something graphic, like, damn, to tear another person from going to jail, like a young person that's going to jail or want to follow Manny steps, you know what I'm saying? What can you say to them?
I mean, thing is, on the outside looking in, from what I see now, a lot of people, like, they make it seem like, you know, don't get me wrong, they don't make it seem like they, like, going to prison is cool, but they make it seem like it's okay. And before I even say anything else, let me just let y'all know that this just is modern day slavery. You know what I'm saying? Like, slavery ain't over. They just, you know, basically restructured it. They making it look like it's non-existent, but it is. You fuck up, you break the law, they take you to jail, and you become a slave.
Absolutely,
you know absolutely. So, you know, that's one thing. If you don't want to be a slave to nobody, make sure you don't go there.
Absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
Go ahead.
And I'm gonna say this though, man, just coming from where we come from, bro, you can look at two sides. Like for me, I graduated college, you know, I did my own thing. I never joined the streets. I got a lot of family in the streets and I grew up, you know, in it. It was in my front yard and my backyard, so that's all I saw. And a person like you went to jail, you got locked up for the things you got locked up for. But just for the people out there, you could be whatever you want to be. Be your own person. You ain't gotta follow nobody's path. Do your own thing, you get respected more. You don't gotta go to jail. You ain't gotta, you know, commit 1,000 murders. You ain't gotta do that. Be yourself. Be your true identity, man. And once you're your true self, you're gonna win regardless. So yeah, man. So yeah, you said those experiences you faced in jail. What's some accomplishments you made in jail? I know you said you got your GED. Talk about that. How that come about?
Man, listen. Sometimes it's amazing what you can get done in the midst of chaos. But like off the break, like when I went to jail, and I knew I would, like, I wasn't expecting to get out anytime soon. But I also wasn't expecting to get out as soon as I did. You know what I'm saying? So that was the blessing. You know, like prison was a blessing and a curse to me. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, the experiences I went through, you know, it helped me grow into the person that I am now. And so when I got to jail, I was like, all right, I know I'm gonna be here for a while. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my GED. You know what I'm saying? Because I had every excuse in the book not to, you know, graduate or get a diploma when I was out here. But in there, I ain't had no excuse. So it's like in there, the only thing I could do is make myself better. Either that or get in the dumb shit and just pass my time being stupid, doing stupid stuff. Just like right after I got sentenced, they sent me to the feds, and you know, I just kept asking about getting into GED. And a couple dudes who already was familiar with the system, and you know, they gave me some guidance. They was like, look, just keep showing up at the educational building, and you know, just keep pressing the issue. Tell them you're trying to get your GED, They gonna go off. They will enroll you based off your sentence, and being as though you gonna be a while in here. They not gonna be in a rush to get you in there. It's about how bad you want it.
Absolutely.
And so me taking initiative, going into them, into the education building, telling them I'm trying to get my GED, I want to get in class. Got me into class. I took the classes for a while, and you know, I was able to focus on it so much that, you know, like I tested as soon as the next test came about. And I was ready, and you know, I tested. I was one of the highest scoring students in the class.
Congratulations, congratulations, brother.
You know what I'm saying? And even though it wasn't the most ideal graduation, my mother and my father was able to, you know, see me receive that acknowledgement, like graduate. And honestly, yeah, I'm very proud of it, even though it's only a high school equivalency diploma. I'm absolutely proud of it, because it could have been, you know, I could have been getting into all types of other stuff in the midst of that. instead I, did my best to focus on that. This is when I lost my grandmother and everything. So it wasn't like I was just happy and like I was peaceful. And then I was going through a lot. But I set myself to it and I did it. That was just one of the things that I did.
So your setbacks, you look at your setbacks as basically motivation to do the things you did. Definitely. And I'm gonna say this too, your weight loss, man. Like, how did that journey come about, man? Talk about that journey, man.
You see,
talk about that.
You see, he said, Manny. He didn't say Manny.
That's what we know, Manny Facts, man. He was a big boy. He was a big boy. How did that? I'll tell you, how did that come about, man? You looking nice, man. How did that come about, bro?
Manifestation. Same thing is everything starts with a thought, and same thing is my GED. I kept in my mind. I just kept telling myself, I'm going to get a GED. I'm gonna do that
for sure,
right? And the same thing was, I used to be telling myself, I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna get in shape. I don't know why. I just wanted. I just felt like, all right, I got the time to do this. So let's do it.
Sure.
But it wasn't like it happened over a year. Nah. Like
how long would you say?
Every year I kept progressing.
Okay, cool.
Every year it wasn't like I went in at 217.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that. What was your size?
I was 217 when I went in.
Okay.
I came home, I was 165. Mind you, that's the pandemic. Yeah. I was in that cell, I had nothing to do.
So you fighting there.
Yeah. So that was the best shape of my life. And I'm not far from it now.
Yeah, for sure.
I be busy now.
Most definitely.
But I came in at 217, and I remember when I first started working out, that shit was horrible.
Yeah, hard as hell.
Out of breath, fat as shit, sweating, jumping all day. I used to hate that shit, but I don't know, it just felt like something I had to do.
No question.
It felt like I treated it more like a duty than anything.
For sure.
And as I kept learning and progressing, I grew to enjoy it and look forward to it. If I didn't work out, it was something wrong.
But they say health is the real wealth, man. So if you ain't got your health, you don't got anything, man. So, and then you see it in our society, our community, a lot of people overweight, especially during the pandemic. People couldn't get to the gyms, people couldn't do their normal routine. So you really had to find a way to do everything that you would normally do. Everybody's schedule got sidetracked. So, take care of your health, man. You take care of your health, you take care of everything around you. You know what I'm saying? So now that you out, right? So talk about the time you was on your way to get out that trail, man, get out that prison, man. How did you feel about that, man? What was going through your mind, man?
A part of me was, shit, you don't know what this.
Yeah, for sure.
I had arts, man. What? I could not contain the amount of thoughts that was running through my mind, but it was nice that I could not sleep.
Anxious.
It was. I was anxious. Some nights I was anxious. Some nights I was excited. Yeah. Some nights I was scared.
Yeah.
All types of shit.
For sure.
Some nights I'd be like I can't believe this is about to happen. It was unrealistic to me. I had already adjusted to being in there
for
so long.
Right.
I turned into a man in there.
For sure.
I grew into a man in there. So it was I was just I didn't know what to expect.
Definitely.
I'm just I'm gonna just do my best. The only thing I kept telling myself is, get out there and that's it. And I know I'm not gonna be perfect. I'm not no saint. I'm gonna do the best that I can when I get out there. And I'm gonna find myself. All I need is opportunities. Everything I kept telling myself. All I need is opportunity.
Real talk.
Let me go. I'm a grind. Let me go. I'm a grind. That's it.
So how many years did you do in total?
Almost 7 years.
Almost 7 years.
So I went in July 2nd, 2014, and I touched down March 22nd, 2021. And for a period of that, the first few months I was inside the halfway house.
Right.
And then up until November 19, 2021, I was on basically house arrest.
Monitor your leg, basically.
Yeah, right. Call it I forgot what it's called.
Supervised release?
Nah, that's not
something else.
Supervised release is like another form of parole.
Okay.
Home confinement, that's what they call it. And so I had that ankle monitor on my leg for some months, and I couldn't do nothing. I can only go places and that I was approved of going to. If I had to go get a haircut, you gotta put that shit on the itinerary a week, 2 weeks in advance. Or if I'm gonna go to work, they gotta know my schedule. It was a pain in the ass dealing with that. I felt like it was holding me back, but they say they use that method to help you transition into society.
Right.
in a sense, it just felt like I just had a prison on my legs.
For sure,
I couldn't do everything
like
that
you
I
ain't never
needed.
leave prison. You were still in there for real.
You know, call. It was a period of time where they would call me and tell me I gotta take a urine. Mind you, they sent me to a halfway house in Baltimore. So when I got on home confinement, I'm all the way in DC.
For sure.
And matter of fact, you took me to
I remember that.
They called me up there for a urine. One time, my good man right here, he took me to take my urine all the way in Baltimore. I don't know. And they tell you gotta be there that day.
For sure.
If not, you get stepped back. And it's like, it don't make no sense. Like, how you expecting a man that just got out of prison, ain't got no vehicle, ain't got no, you don't even let me drive.
Nothing.
You don't let me get a license.
Facts.
You expect me to get up there in a matter of hours. That's, mind you, it's like about an hour away in traffic.
Basically figure that shit out on your own.
Yeah, that's exactly what that's how I felt. Like they just threw me in there.
They want you to go back.
That shit
they want you to go back.
Yeah, but
they
you gotta do what we tell you
exactly.
to do.
Basically, like, they really don't want to release you. So if you mess up, they wait for you to send you back. So yeah, man. So you out here, man, you know. So what's the first thing you did when you got released?
First thing I did, I can't get in trouble with this no more. So first thing I did was like I was supposed to take a bus home, and I ain't gonna lie. I had my folks pick me up. First thing I wanted to do was hug my son.
No question.
You know what I'm saying? I seen my son, I hugged him, and I don't know, just I took it in like it was just like took a deep breath and just like, you know, like damn, this is real, right? Like we had stopped, you know, we had made a pit stop on the road because I'm coming home from Kentucky, so that's about an 8-hour drive, something like that. So we had, you know, our first pit stop was not the ideal first meal that I was planning to have, which was McDonald's. I hate McDonald's. And I don't know why I even was okay with it. I was like, I'll grab some breakfast.
No question.
I got released early in the morning, but the first thing I did was just be with my siblings. When I got to the city, they threw like a cookout for me, like just my family and stuff, you know. Just took it in, bro. Like it was like that day was full of anxiety, joy, and you know, just like it was just unrealistic. I just was taking it all in as it came.
So I'm asking, what do you do for like, just for you, like Manny, like what do you do for yourself to keep you going? Like what's something you tell yourself, what activities you involve yourself in that people want to know about? Like if they see you doing like that, you do that? Like what's something you do?
I mean, right now, honestly, I'm on a journey of like learning more and it's like I want to learn what my place is in life. What's you know, they say
your purpose.
Find my purpose, but find your niche in order to get rich. Because one thing, like what you just said though, what keeps me going is that I tell myself all the time is that I can do more. I don't settle for where I'm at. And a lot of people tell me I'm in a good position in my life right now.
For sure.
But I be like, nah, I can do more.
Absolutely.
I'm grateful. Yeah, I'm not content, but I'm grateful.
Absolutely.
You know, one thing about it, I gotta be grateful for everything I have right now. Because if I'm not worthy of being, you know, of being grateful, like, hold on, let me run that back.
Time.
If I'm not grateful for what I have now, how could I be worthy of anything greater?
Mm.
You feel me? So that's just how I see it. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be grateful, but I'm not gonna be content.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna settle for nothing.
Absolutely.
Because I can do a whole lot more. I just gotta figure it out.
Absolutely.
You know
Absolutely. And you mentioned your son, man. Like, how much has your son played in your life as your inspiration, like motivation? How much motivation does he give you?
I want to say he 110% of my motivation, man.
Yes,
like I just told you, man, I was running a little late to this because I'm like, I was with him.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? When I'm with him, don't nothing else matter.
I'm telling you.
So just seeing him and, you know, seeing that he a spitting image of me and just knowing that he's depending on me in order for him to have the best life possible. That's, you know, that does a lot to me.
Absolutely. Amen. And March made it a year since you've been home, right?
Yes, since I stepped out the prison.
Amen. A year, man. So we gotta congratulate the brother just being home a year. A lot of people don't make it to see that, you know, that March being home a year. So like, what's next for Manny? Like, what's something you want to do? Something that you set out for yourself, your goals, your aspirations, your dreams. things that you wrote down in that cell, like when you like, when I come home, when I touch down, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna just have all this stuff. Like, what's something that you plan to do?
I think I'm a multifaceted type of person, right? Where it's like I can't just stick to one thing.
Absolutely.
Right? Like I love fitness. I love, just the idea of having a healthy life. And I've entertained like, real estate, like not in the sense of I got the money and I'm gonna just buy a house and sell it. Nah, but more so in the sense I used to watch HGTV when I used to be in prison. And all I used to envision is the house that I live in now. I used to just envision being able to get a loan or get some money and renovate the whole house and turn it into a rental property.
Right.
Mind you, it's my father's house.
Right, sure.
It's not my house.
Sure.
But I'm already taking those steps. I'm telling him like, bro, listen, let me handle this.
No question.
I'm gonna figure it out. It's gonna be you. But whether you decide to sell it or whether you decide to keep it, I just needed to benefit me in a way. You know what I'm saying? And that's not just being an ambitious or a greedy person or nothing like that. But it's just that, I know that he needs help.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? My father is older. It's a lot that he can't really put on his plate.
Absolutely.
That's so that's one of the things that I see myself, getting involved with, and hopefully I can get some more guidance from people like you.
Absolutely, of course.
Another thing, all right. So right now I'm a photographer.
Okay.
Talk about that.
Yeah, it's okay.
So it's something I never thought of doing.
Yeah.
But the opportunity to rise, and I took full advantage of it.
Absolutely.
So right now I'm I'm getting my experience. My main job is to take pictures of cars, make it look good, upload them, and make them presentable for customers to shop around online. You know what I'm saying? So it's a big role, even though it don't seem like it, because presentation is everything.
Everything.
And most of the time, like the car, like when I went and got my car, I actually bought my car and my job. But I bought the car first and then got the job because of the way that I carried myself when I went in there. The young lady that helped me get the job was so impressed by how I carried myself, and I told her my story, and she just like, look, I was working at a bar when I was grinding.
I'm telling you. I know.
On the weekends, I was working damn near 24 hours. Really. Saturday, Sunday,
get it in.
I get 10 hours, 12 hours straight each day. And I was just working. So I kept, I had to just saving money up, and I was like, I put myself in a position where I'm like, I bet I needed me a whip. I had just got my license. November 17, 2021, I had just got my license. That, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, Slim. When I got that license and I realized I passed, I cried tears of joy.
I'm telling you.
I had never had a license a day in my life. 27 years old, I got a license.
Let me ask you this, how long did it take you to get the car afterwards, get your whip afterwards?
11 days.
11 days. You was on the go.
I deleted Instagram and everything.
I remember that. You was on your grind, like wasn't no plan. You see what he was saying? He was working 24-hour shifts, man, all day. He wasn't playing because he had everything written out. He had everything he wanted to do. So I'm gonna tell you like this: at the end of the day, man, you gotta make sure you got your mind set on everything you want to do. You gotta be tunnel vision focused. Don't let none distract you. You see what he did? He did 6.5 years, almost 7 years in prison. Came home, no breaks. Been at home a year. You know what I'm saying? Some change. So look at his story as motivation, man. So look, I'm gonna say this, man. Before we wrap everything up, what's something you want the people to like? Just some positive words for the people, for the youth especially, because everything I do is for the youth. What's some words you want to tell them, man? Some positive words, some affirmations.
Affirmations. Some of them might not sound like rhyme or nothing like that, but I'm gonna tell you like the best thing that you can do for yourself and growing as a person is being comfortable with yourself. I'm still working on that. I'm pretty sure you still working on that. Being at peace with yourself.
Absolutely.
And one of my biggest inspirations in outside of my son and family is like Nipsey Hussle. He said one thing that he's sticking with me all the time is he's like, be at peace. Would you rather be at peace with yourself or at war with the world? And that's a big thing. Being at peace with yourself first, learning to find peace within yourself, but also putting things in your mind, the right things in your mind, and just letting it manifest. Because me personally, I'm not a goal-oriented type of person. I'm more so of a
feeling.
I just put it in my mind, and I'm like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And sometimes I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I get to it.
You're gonna get it done regardless by any means.
Yes, and it is gonna take time, but you just gotta be consistent and manifest.
For sure.
You control it. You control what you manifest. You know, and going back to like my early 20s and stuff, like before I went to prison, I manifested what I went through. I look back at it and I'm like, yeah, I manifested that. And some people might not believe me. Some people might be like, man, he's just talking. But real shit, like, it's your most consistent thoughts is what comes about in the exterior life. So always be mindful of what you're putting in your mind. You know what I'm saying? Always be mindful of what you letting other people put in your mind. You feel me? Because I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like, I was influenced in the wrong ways too, but it's not necessarily that person's fault or anybody else's fault. It was what I allowed my life to turn into. So just apply yourself to, like, really apply yourself no matter what you're doing. It's gonna be hard. And I used to tell my son mother this over the phone all the time. Nothing that's worth having comes easy. You know what I'm saying? I don't expect nothing that I'm accomplishing to be easy. And anything that I've accomplished thus far hasn't been easy, but I'm like, I'm gonna make it happen.
Absolutely.
That's just, just make it happen, and put it in your mind that you can make something more than where you at in life. No matter where you at in life. I done seen people, man, really, like, from nothing turn it into something. That's real. It's about how bad you want it.
Absolutely. So there you have it, man. The real two-tatter, Manny Fatz. You hear his story. Use his story as motivation and inspiration to do what you got to do. Ain't no excuses. Look what he just came from. Look at the things he's been through, and he's still standing. So listen, man, y'all know what it is, man. We're going to keep on going. We're going to keep on grinding. And look, man, I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you 100%, man. Love you too, bro. I appreciate it, man. Take your story, man, as motivation and do whatever you want to do. Read.